morning drive. I didn't want to do one yesterday, but today, Tuesday, it's 42 degrees. Fall is here. It's getting cooler. A little foggy this morning. Traffic is heavier than usual. I usually don't have too many cars in front of me, but today, a little heavy. See what I mean? Some days there's hardly any cars on the road, and some days pretty. Well, maybe the fog has slowed people down a little bit. But anyway, got a weird dream for you, and a little story of my childhood. Noodles, the cat, Kevin, and I were PMing back and forth, and just telling him some ideas I had for for stories. And one story I had was that weird kid in school that we all knew. Now, not including me as the weird kid, but the dream first. I had a dream last night that I was going somewhere in the car, this car, and I was on the highway, and it was, I think it was somewhere in Texas. But I was trying to accelerate, and the car wouldn't accelerate. It was kind of one of those running dreams where you're trying to run away from something, but you couldn't. And anyway, it was weird. It was like a running dream, except you were in your car. But I was accelerating, the car wouldn't go, so I put put my foot on the floor, and the car started accelerating, but it was hard to control. The steering wheel was hard to move, and everything was kind of like in slow motion. And finally I got the car up to like 60 miles an hour, and I had a turn. I needed to make a turn off the expressway. It was weird. And I was looking at it. It was like a car dealership or something, and I saw the car dealership, so I moved over to the left side of the road, and it seemed like I ran over the curb, but I know I didn't. But it just felt like I ran over the curb, and then I felt this big boom. And so I look in the rearview mirror, and in the rearview mirror, the back door was gone. This is a dream. The back door was gone, and so was my back tire. But I was still moving, but I drastically slowed down. And then I looked down at the floorboard, and down on the floorboard, this whole section was missing. I could see the front wheel. I could see the front tire, but the tread was like peeling off of the tire. But I was still moving. But I was kind of like crawling along, and finally I made the turn into the dealership and got out of the car and looked at the door, and the door was still there, but it's like the outside shell of the door had peeled back and it flipped backwards. And the car dealership guys came out, and it's like, oh, let's take a look at the car. And when you looked at the outside of the door, there was a vertical dent down the middle of the door, like somebody had run into me, something had hit me. And the dealership guy says, oh, it looks like your airbag in the back blew, and it caused the door to bend like that. I'm like, wow, that was interesting. Why did he go off? He's like, it does that sometimes. So, where would I even get that kind of information to see that in a dream? So I don't know if that's some forewarning or what, but it was weird. So that was the dream. So the story is of a weird kid I knew when I was growing up, and this came up when my son and I were going somewhere, and he was kind of asking me things about high school, you know, what I did and stuff like that. And I told him a weird kid I knew. I'm not gonna say his name, obviously. I will have to say that he was a really smart kid. He was way smarter than me. Let's put it that way, intellectually, academically. But he was one of those kids that was so smart he was dumb. Kind of lacked some social graces. But even even his dog was dumb. I was at a friend's house who lived across the street from him, and my friend and I were just standing in the front yard talking. All of a sudden, something crashed into the side of my leg, like, you know, like I don't know, about the size of a one of those pedal cars or something. It felt like one of those electric Jeeps for kids. It felt like something that size with that heft ran into the side of my leg, and I looked down, and there was like a dog. It was like a beagle looking dog. And I'm like, what is that? He goes, oh, we'll call him Billy. That's Billy's dog. I'm like, what? What's wrong with him? Is he blind? He's like, no, he just does that. So, but anyway, this Billy, he had a job at a restaurant, and he was a busboy, and he had to wear these T-shirts that they give you at this restaurant to show customers that you're part of the staff. It had the name of the restaurant on the shirt. And one day he had to go to work. He couldn't find his shirt. So he turns the house upside down, pull drawers out, turn over recliners, just ransack the house. And his mother comes home and thinks that the house was robbed, so she calls the cops, and the cops get there, and they're like looking through the house. You know, the door is like wide open, and the cops are like, well, it appears that you've been robbed, but nothing's missing. The TVs are still there, all their jewelry's still there, you know, all the valuables are still in the house. Luckily, I mean, they lived in a relatively new subdivision, so it was relatively safe. But it was, you know, there's no forced entry. So she couldn't figure out what was going on. So she calls him at work, and he goes, "Oh yeah, I guess I forgot to lock the front door when I left." But that was just one of the many strange stories with Billy. Maybe I'll do a series on of Billy stories. But he was something else, man. So anyway, that's my morning drive. Weird dream and weird kid. Stay safe out there. Take care. Bye.